was that he did this movie called the movie. Let's see, this will be live. The movie, or wait, it's the play. Not called Grease, not called Grime, not called Stone. That was his play. Vince McGill was in a recent play, which I forget the name right now, but the plot, the content, the entering of the play, the content of the play was about factories closing down in middle America, your neck of the woods, around the Mississippi, not on the other side of the Rockies, not on Utah's side. We're the most eastern of Western countries.
Right on Mississippi.
Well, Minnesota, right? Is that not part of the? Is that? Do you touch?
That's where the Mississippi starts.
Is that also where the Missouri borders? Are you guys like the cross?
Yep.
I could be way
Iowa,
off.
Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi. What else is down there?
It's tributaries. I'm trying to figure out, like, is it Erie or Huron or Superior or tributary to the Mississippi? Or, I know the Missouri is on the west end, but on the east end of it,
you know, there was something that I never really considered until just a couple of years ago, because my history about the United States was kind of scant. But the whole importance of steam engines to go up the Mississippi was it was everything to that economy. You could go up those rivers back into the heartland, and being able to go against the flow of nature at will. But the problem was the economies got sort of dependent upon those systems, and when they didn't function, that's why they had to regulate the steam engines, because there were so many explosions in the mid-19th century that there was a conflict between whether or not the safety of the passengers was more important.
What year would that conflict be, though? Like 1880 or
no,
like
I think
1940?
more like the 50s. Yeah.
Before
the Civil War.
Yeah, I was trying to think of, like, when will that kind of regulation
That's
come
the type of thing. It's like public safety and unionism is one of the things that has to influence the economy, because people don't want to run that risk.
There is so much
you have to impose standards on it.
There is so much about the history, from feudalism to industrialism to modern capitalism to like post Uniform Commercial Codes of 1942, of post-1973 John Nash's implementation of game theory into the options market for high-speed trading. Right, and then the end of the dollar and Nixon, like boom, like okay, no longer zero, it's complete fiat, zero gold now, which constitutionally is an issue. Like everyone's like, oh, we want guns, we want a speech, but the other thing that they don't have, right, is where money is constitutionally backed by gold. But the UCC codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, say, look, that just says if the state doesn't issue, but we're not the state, we're the Fed. So the Federalist Papers, it's like the Federalist Papers was an argument saying, what, we want a confederacy of state rights where the states dominate more, not a federal government. But then the Federal Reserve kicks in, uniforms finance, 1930, 3-ish, 13-ish, 1913. Anyway, Uniform Commercial Code. My brother notices 1933 Wizard of Oz comes in. That's when he's like, that's where everyone that's a citizen of the United States has a birthright obligation to fund the corporation of the United States. Because corporate law... It's not. It's an implied obligation. Like there's expats. There's some difficulty in doing certain. For me, it's difficult because I'm riding on the system. I'm like you're a camel, and you have a toothpick on your back. I am that toothpick. I am taking that much weight off of everyone. One toothpick per camel human. because I'm a recipient of government money. But my mom's like, look, Mike, quit guilting yourself into this, because the thing about it is you're paid into Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. You've been paying into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, my younger brother's trying to retract himself by filing through Taiwan and doing these rebirth citizenships. So he wants to be an organism that lives in America that isn't tied to the Fed, but it's got its problems, so he's still paying his taxes. This guy, on the other hand, pretty straight shooter, business, meaning does acting, works at a bar, manages a bar. Rebar in Seattle is like, it's not not a tranny bar, but what it is it's a it's a gender bender bar. It's a drag queen. That's why the thing that pissed Graytex off about me and my response to him turning into Gale was like, this guy already had me through that grinder, so I wasn't impressed.
But he didn't like that
like
you were needling him,
how
because he
dare
still has his
you?
own.
Like, no.
But yeah,
I'm
but
like,
he's
don't be a
or
bitch.
she,
You were a
I should
bitch
say
4
she.
minutes 4 weeks ago. Not you, him, her. Until the nuts were cut, right? Because there was this video of this lady gathering. Do you want to get your nuts cut off today? Are you ready to get your nuts cut off? And I thought, until Graytex gets his. I know, but what's her nuts did, and what's her nuts in New York was coming through. Not country. I don't think country points can get nuts cut, but Meredith Mayhem, not Meredith Poop. Meredith Poop. I'll tell you this. You know who I'm talking about with Azure and I. What's her code name? What's her stage name? She's part of the Azure and I group. She's following son, but I can't remember. Wait, I'm working on it. Anyway, sorry, getting tad shitty. She is the last remaining individual that I have a network with my old girlfriend Carrie.
Oh.
She grabbed it tangentially. Somehow there was a connection on Facebook before Instagram or before the other social medias started popping up. So if you backtrack through time to 1996, where you say Rivers born 1996,
yeah.
And you go, okay, well that's 6 years of no real internet. Then about 2002, if you hadn't bought an Apple by then, around 2002, that's when things start cutting loose. But there's no Yahoo US, Yahoo France, Yahoo, like even this TM, YouTube, NL. That's Netherlands, YouTube. Anyway, yeah, but they divvied it up around that time. Yahoo did. Yahoo France, Yahoo Amsterdam, Yahoo everything. So there's this whole divvying, almost a, what do you call it? A confederacy of nations.
They were staking out their territories for market shares and everything.
But no, the U.S. is the one that runs the market share. The U.S. keeps employing our petrodollar dominance and our military dominance while we in debt. Everything's a debt note. So we don't trade dollars backed by gold constitutionally, but we'll argue about First Amendment rights. We'll argue about gun rights. But we don't argue about gold-backed money rights. Why? Because you just get dust. And it'd be nothing. But at the same time, China's been buying up fuckloads of gold. Like, why? Why do humans still, even the next generation? Do you believe humans must go back to that? Must we believe in gold?
I think
for your future.
I think that exchange value is really problematic because people know that it doesn't represent merit. I mean, it's
like
problematic because it's the way that you can accumulate enough exchange value in order to reinvest in your own property. And property it implies authority with respect to that property as an employer or as just a thing, you know. But that's the difference between having a personal object. Like this, me owning this doesn't really mean anything to you. But if I buy your business or if I buy a house, it does impact you in different ways. Like if you work for me, I can change your, your life schedule, things like that with your kids.
But
And
how
so-
does not any intersection in life change one's schedule? Why the reduction to economy as something other than a series of atomatized happenings that are moving into determinism like a shotgun full of BBs, atomatized, very atom-like stuff in a shell getting ready to shoot out the end of a fucking barrel? I don't know, man. I was mean to Anton. I have to admit, I was mean to
you're a
Anton.
terrible person.
And then I tried to put on
was
this
it really?
wolf
He
man.
admitted that one video was very funny that you made. That was
The one he got me one comment. They think he took it down, but I wouldn't know where to look.
I thought he made a video response acknowledging that it was very
Well,
humorous.
but if I ever found it again, I could
What
try
was
to
your-
pony up on
Your
that.
opening little chant that you did about this.
The twist on a dime, turn on a dime, Professor, turn on a dime. I don't know, Professor. I'm gonna try this one. Turn on a dime, Dospook, and see what happens. Right? Because who knows? Eesh, son of a bitch. Nothing. Oh, there I am. Okay, this one. Let's see how nuts I sound now. So I have zero philosophical knowledge. I'm just coming at this raw, right?
Maybe that was the mistake to begin with. Maybe there's something older than and prior to the subject-object distinction. Maybe this notion that the world's over there and I'm over here was already part of the problem that got me into this. The notion of other people over there and I'm over here, that again is part of the illusion. It's the world itself seems to be something that's there, and I seem to be something that's separate from it, but it's thought and reliance upon vision that really make that seem to be the case.
Okay. I just, I wanted to jump in at that point of your video because that very statement is like a point of contention, and I guess I can sprout, hopefully, that can source to a lot of my themes relative to you. And so let me see how I can start that. First of all, the very notion that you would say a reliance on sight to you, I'm supposing you're qualifying it to yourself, although I think that you read that from another author and that you adhere to that. It has become imbued in you as a type of dogmatism. You rely on this as a crucial tangent for certain arguments. And this is what I meant by you have to state something. You have to be dogmatic in order to have the next thought, the nous verbis relationship. And I'm dogmatic towards that idea, right? But, okay, so the very notion that sight is the reliance on sight is somehow a guilty party to your seeing yourself as separate from the world is by itself very interesting. That somebody would say, well, that is the reliance on the sight is guilty. And I think that this is somehow tied into your notion of words holding meaning in transcendence, like the number two. There is no two and there's no platonic two, but there is the scratch.
Okay, imbricated. And I taught my niece imbricated. She's like, "What's imbricated?" I'm like, "Imbricated is like tile. It's like that.
Okay.
Tile is imbricated." Now, philosophically, imbrications are you can do a scope of dialetheism because you're scoping it this way. Like instead of a Venn diagram like this, right? Now I'm using two fingers. These are 3D fingers. They're voluminous. This one goes behind this one. But for your sake and the sake of the lesson, you're only to look at this as an orthographic. Do not mind the intersection in terms of this. But this is extensional, meaning we're going to call this the same. We're going to call weak atheism the same thing that we're going to call agnosticism. Wait, you can't call weak atheism equivalent to weak theism, you can mirror them and say, look, this is what it is to be agnostic. But then you're asking for a purity of the polarity and not a Bayesian blur. So you want to know where you're at on the data set in terms of binaries. So you're with Christine, and you're flying back, and then you're coming back, and then you're moving forward. And this seems promising. And I think you're actually, it's a good move. And
it's just living life. I'm going with a new, really interesting opportunity.
I think
what else do I got?
It's not a bad idea.
What else do I got?
I have no idea what you got.
And that's what I was getting at by.
This is the first time like meeting you.
Everybody in my family and my friends have died. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of all of my cousins. I'm the oldest of all my my mother and father's siblings' kids, and
okay,
I got this new start on life. I'm just gonna run.
Your brother-in-law. What do you have relationships to his brothers or sisters?
I have.
And are
I'm
they as freaked as you are?
Brothers and sisters.
Are they as non-freaked as you are, or is they as freaked as you are?
No, they're totally freaked. They love their brother. Matter of fact, it was today, the 3rd, was the anniversary of her, 2-year anniversary of her last time that she saw her brother.
Oh.
And so I had to acknowledge that thing for her life, because he was a really good guy.
You keep saying that. It's so weird.
He did the worst thing he could possibly do.
But that's the difficulty, and it's okay if it's never the worst, right? In my world, it's okay if it's never the worst. In my universe,
you know, what's weird is that I sent him a text saying, well, because he looked like about a 20-year younger version of my logic teacher, the teacher in the prison. And so I sent him the picture, and he laughed. And then I used the opportunity of interacting with him to tell him thank you for everything he did for me. That was the last interaction I had with him. He said, no thanks necessary, brother. That's the type of guy he was.
But you were also like carousing with your old professors back in Minnesota or Michigan, where you were going to grad school in the States, right?
Carousing.
And you were talking about a conflict of influence, like when you were like you were deciding how you were going to move forward with your education, right? You were deciding this, and then this opportunity to come over here made itself avail, and you chose this as opposed to the conflict that you viewed was internal within the academic structure. But you chose this not haphazardly, but you didn't choose it completely ad hoc either. Like, you chose it because it appealed. There was some appeal to going.
There's a lot of what I want there, so naturally I choose it. And I whatever money I end up owing, I'll gladly pay it, because it's been. I mean, like, what would I rather do? What I did, or buy a crappy car? You know what I mean? I did something really fun, and now I can go back to a job that I used to have and save up a couple more grand and then come back. And
So how long is that it? You're going to stay there a couple months and then come back? Or what's your thought?
Yeah.
And by any time you want to crash out, dude, just like lay down and do whatever. But don't also sweat it, because all my bags are packed. Everything's ready to rock. Yeah, I don't care if I'm up all night. All night. I really don't. This is still going, by the way, in case you didn't know.
I gotta make it to the airplane. That's all.
I'm upset that every time I click a Heineken, it drops out a shot instead of a beer. That's really upsetting me. Watch this. Heineken, number 1. See, Heineken card. You click that, you get okay. What does it kick out? No, it's a Heineken.
Hey, I'll drink that.
It's a sorcery.
It's a sorcery.
Can
I have one? All right, I get some.
Let's split it. We'll split this one. I'll try to get you another one. Because, and I know you got the filly in the pinch, you got the thing. Remember the dude with the frizzy hair that did the little sculptures, and he wasn't Irish or Scottish, but he did. He gave me a sculpture of a begging man, a bald begging man. He did.
You mean the guy from Georgia?
No, he was from, I think, the UK, but he was before Forever Wolf Films got on the scene.
Oh, okay.
When Forever
Oh,
Wolf
I was
Films
thinking of
got on the scene.
Sherwolf. He's more of a musician.
Sherwolf.
He bought some of your sculptures, right?
I bought one of his. He didn't buy any of mine, and I didn't mind it because I still have that sculpture of his of a begging man. Yeah, and it's just really weird, man. I'll have to show you this guy's wolfism.
He's a really good musician. He can play the banjo really well, but he's one of the guys that actually went out to Seattle back in the early 90s to try to make it in a band. And then he went back to his real love, which is kind of alt country. Well, he's a pretty grassroots country guy.
I didn't know he was all, like, maybe I didn't pay attention. I was going on about warbles on a lot to some people.
Oh, he loves philosophy too. He has some kind of a technical writing job. He writes for technology companies. So he probably doesn't think that he should comment on my not my anti-technology, but my technological critique videos.
I almost got you on the back end of some of that.
Hey, Sherwolf, if you're out there, shoot me a video.
Yeah,
shoot us a video. Sherwolf.
Oh.
Breaker 19. Breaker. What's I don't know how to do Siri talk.
It's Mama Bear, Papa Bear. We got the rubber ducky on the line. Shirley, come on in. Baby, you all rubber ducky number 9, number 8.
That's a big 10-4. Roger that.
That's a big 4-10, good buddy. Okay, so we're trying what is called, and this is where the tape comes off. Anyone that wants to evidence the visual aspect of the video. And we're still not being seen. We don't even see what we're saying while we try the sorcery. See, this is not sorcery. What would you call that?
Sorcy.
Sorcy, like Scorchy. His old boyfriend, he had 2 old boyfriends. And the thing is that Michael, his boyfriend, I'm a Michael, he's a Michael. He has this thing at Rebar, this bar in Seattle. And this bar in Seattle is Scorchy. Scorchy's from the 70s. It's like Dallas. And there's something like Scorchy. And she shows up on like Captain Stubing. Like, so I'm on this fucking boat cruise in Amsterdam, right? And the guy that's running the boat, he's bald. And so I'm making a Popeye reference. And I'm making a Captain Stubing reference. And they're hearing it. They're not picking it up. And so this one bike on the top of this bridge shows up. And so what do? I point to it. And there's only like 8 people on this little hour boat cruise here in Amsterdam. But one of them's from Israel, dating somebody else is from Amsterdam. 2 of them are women, and they're both from Germany. And then there's this maybe Muslim couple, maybe not Muslim couple in the back. Black couple. And then there's the bald guy up front. Anyway, and so what I end up doing is I make these references to Popeye and Captain Stubing, but I start singing the love boat. And then there's one bike on one bridge. And I go, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to the left side of the boat, we have the bike from the Wizard of Oz, such that the Green Witch wore and rode into the movie The Wizard of Oz. They kind of like, they tensed up. Like there's a tension. Not dissimilar to the Ivory Tower's tension that I had an antagonism towards, let's say, Anta. But I wasn't too like scoped on the binary dialectic that Amendum always has. It's either pain or not pain. That's what value is, and fuck you. There's zero mythos, zero religion.
He works, and he
Does he work?
exercise. No, maybe not for money, but he's an active person. He knows that sacrificing some pain in exercise and sacrificing yourself can be rewarding. He knows that the effort and the difficulty does pay off.
But what happens when you're done sacrificing yourself? Let's say,
Well,
like, I'm done sacrificing myself. Now, what do I do?
No, it's not about sacrifice to get something. I don't think it's more about that the side effect of just being active or using your agency is a good feeling. You know,
Okay.
like
Because of that, Barklord and I are going to walk this laptop downtown and not downtown, downstairs, and I'm going to light the rest of a joint and smoke it and philosophize, and then we'll be right back up. But we're going to take you with us, and if the battery dies on this old fucking laptop, which it might, because this thing's been shutting off at like 40%, bad battery thing, I had to get some new one. You don't have to take it too far. Here we go. Yep, ready? Are you okay? Sourcey. Preuss. I think this is water. Okay, here we go. Let's take a little walk. Let's walk and talk. Actually, if you hold this, hold that for a second.
I don't think it's not doing
Let's
it.
go.
The screen is black.
Definitely. Okay. I think they didn't get rid of any of that, so we got plenty of that. Okay.
Do you have a room key?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. How long did you put on the door? Okay, so as gifted I am by the state for fucking my body up, as gifted I am in the gifted and talented program for my folks. Like, hey, it's not so much that you're talented, it's that you're gifted. Like, someone gave you a lot of gifts. We're not going to go to the elevator.
Yeah,
We're
obviously.
just going smooth. Well, I did climb up the Anne Frank house in 3 different angles.
I'm not being critical. I'm just.
No, it was like
I didn't
these
remember.
stairs went like that at the end, like the little annex that they had to get into for the hidden building behind his bookcase. It was fucked up. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're like, come on, I have enough Irish history. I don't need this Amsterdam.
No, I'm not. Look at this. This is kind of a weird.
I thought
Vastly underestimated mind, aren't they?
You make me wonder of Americana formalism and the.
Are we going outside?
The possibility of the soul. Yes. Yes. Because we can't smoke inside. And we'll go back to the knowledge of properties, and I got this blanket. We should sit over here. I'm all about sitting. And who knows, man? This guy's got like stories from Scotland. Now he's trained. How many fucking Rockies are there now? Anyway,
Rocky. My son's nickname is Rocky.
2. Did you say 7? How
7?
many? You think there's 7 Rockies?
I don't know. My son is a Rocky. I used to call him Rocky.
You used to call your son Rocky?
Yeah.
River?
He didn't like his name for a while, so
All right.
we agreed to go with the nickname. And he liked the original Rocky movie.
I like the original Rocky movie.
Yeah.
In a bit, we'll trade up here. And are you okay on camera? Here, let me give me on camera.
I don't know.
Okay. Fuck
Does that
you.
green light
How
mean
you
it's still
doing?
going?
Peace light, increase light, and what's that?
Does that green light mean it's still going?
Mm-hmm.
The screen is black. I don't know what's going on.
I just tape it up because of the NSA.
Oh.
Meaning everything's recorded. Like you're part of the karmic record regardless.
Yeah.
You're good. Don't worry about it. You're part of the karmic record or the Akashic record, right? Regardless. And so you avoid every camera that's on the inside of every eyeball's molecule that looks out at every single thing that your indexed internal eyeball ever focused on. Everything. And then it matches it with the corresponding thought that is behind that field. This goes beyond formalism, beyond logical isms.
It's not a rational process.
It's not held together. It's just not rational per se. Even Russell suggests that, look, if you talk about a set of things, you're talking about a finite set. If you talk about an infinite set, and you're going to start measuring infinites, you don't even know whether or not the element of the set. If you're going to talk about an infinite set, and you're going to speculate, is it all of a sudden you're in speculation and bullshit at that point? I'm just going to speculate. It's merely bullshit. I have no summation. It's instinct alone. It's my intellect on instinct alone. Ration is merely
speculative philosophy.
Anyway, Russell left contradiction as an exercise for future logicians. And all future logicians did was say, now we have second order logic. Now we have third order logic. And all that's doing is trying to re-index the general relative to the indexing of the particular. The particular Jim Winters hanging out with me right now as Dospook, Jim Winters, Barklord, Mike Vale, whatever we are.
So maybe, we know some other analytic philosophers on YouTube.
Oh, well, who would, would you say?
Serious is an analytic philosopher.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Maybe we should get her input.
He likes the formalization of the past, and I don't mind it either. It's historic. I might break it around the breeches Karen, God, we wish you would have fucking ponied up a donkey dick to amend him when he was casting your shit, making you feel bad. Where is the feminism now? It's all softened by this UK softism. They're very pleasant, very feathery over here, I gotta admit. There you go.
Look at all the bikes.
And so I was trying to impress upon him, hey, what's the difference between Ireland, Belfast, and Amsterdam? And I don't know.
Belfast is much smaller.
What is it much smaller?
Belfast is much smaller. I would imagine. I think Belfast is about 250 to 300,000 people.
I got this cross in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
That's a British cross from a woman in London that's going through mental problems. She's an older woman. I don't like mental problems. I think mental problems are half. And if you want anytime. He was saying he was good earlier. And by God, all means, don't record anything. And knowingly, purposefully, with intent, inferred intent. Anyway, so the labor theory of value. We'll go into an argument. We're going to butt heads a little bit here.
Okay.
So I'll try to. The labor theory of value is an indexing of 9 to 11 ordinances that somehow define one's behavior towards the production of items in the universe such that they have a productive paradigm, as well as complemented in the U.S. at least and globally in terms of hegemonics, a desire, post-Freud, Freud's nephew studied propaganda, mass propaganda of consumerism. What's his name? Bernays. So Bernays.
Very much influenced with Jacques Ellul.
And Jacques Ellul, that's Jack off a flu for me. I didn't read Jacques Ellul. I don't know
wrote a book
all
on
about
propaganda.
Jacques Ellul.
He wrote a book on propaganda, as well as technology.
Anyway, and I'm sure whatever that guy is, he's probably got an opinion on something or another that we don't know about. Anyway, even though Barklord's good, this is all just pure weed. It's $8, €8 in Amsterdam. No obligations. Hey, you never saw it here on tubes. You never saw it. Because when we stuff cotton in our, here you go. We do this just cotton roll, right? And it's for the show. Anyway, it's not just for the show. This guy I've known for a decade. You've been a decade around. Now, when we showed up, now you've never met Piero, and Amanda met Piero, and neither of us has met Piero.
Right.
But my understanding is that Azrianok was a big guy, and that Piro's like 6-something, and you're a big guy, and I'm a pretty big guy. So there's all these big guys, these big old Neanderthals walking around on YouTube, including the Amazing Atheist, you fucking fat piece of pig fuck.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He blocked me so early on in his.
The Amazing Atheist. Yeah. You were
way back
challenging
in
him.
Well,
like you had a certain antagonism.
I've always had certain sympathies toward mystic philosophies and a little bit of a sympathy for Christianity or whatever. But even though I have my criticisms too, but some of the things he was saying, I don't even remember what it was at the time. But I called him out on what I thought it was. He blocked me, and then.
Keep going. He blocked you. Well, that's what I'm double checking.
And so then I couldn't really comment on the stuff, and so he never interacted with me, and it might very well be because of that.
I think we're still going. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, man.
Oh,
hey, fuck you at 36. 36 in the house with a joint in the house without my gloves in the house.
What street are we on?
So
No.
Don't worry about it, man. You can hang out. I'm not trying to razzle you. You can pass out. We can go to bed anytime. We're hanging out. I'm putting him up. He's flying out tomorrow. We're flying out tomorrow. He's flying out 4 hours after, roughly, we're leaving. So we'll try to land a continental breakfast and get him scooted onto the flight to Minnesota, where then he can become an expat proper. I suppose. Isn't it proper? Is it non-proper?
I don't know.
Perhaps it's non-proper. Anyway, and we're drinking Sourcey, or I am, finishing this. It's a water drink. It's kind of bland, actually. But it beats Heineken. I have a surname of Failed. I have cousins who have a surname Heine. And since they're kin to me, I drink Heineken.
There you go.
See, now that's a bit of sorcery. Well, I don't know. I don't know who wants to drink water anyway. Look, I got 0 thumbs up. If any of you are watching right now, live, which you're not.
It's a shame, isn't it? Come on.
Well, look, hey,
you
man.
got to comment.
This is Barklord, everyone. Barklord, Barklord on the Dospook channel. Special appearance in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam.
That's why I'm smoking outside, because that's what I do. What do you think of my mustache? Anyone? What's your comment? What about my mustache?
I wasn't sure if it was deliberate or not.
What do you think of it if it was deliberate? And what do you think of it if it wasn't deliberate?
Was that a week? I don't know.
I've done it periodically over the last several months. This kind of like thing with the beard. Like, okay, now what do you think of his facial hair? He's got the whole genre, not a lot of, he's not carving even around the bottom of the beard. He's letting it go natural, roughly, 2 weeks, 13, 5, 7, 9 days. 9 days.
I try to trim it every 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not very faithful with it.
That would be 3 months. 3 weeks, I mean, not 3 months.
3 weeks.
Okay, now notice, if he gets closer, that his mustache hair is slightly darker than the remainder of the beard. Yeah. Same here now. Look at how I cut mine. It's kind of like the
Scottish Terrier look, right?
I'm cutting off my dark beard, right? I got gray here, so I cut it off. He keeps his. I don't, right? Because I'm trying to, it's a simulacron versus a simulation. You got the simulacron. This is all focused. This is why the whole postmodern scapegoating has just got to stop, man. Postmodern scapegoating, I hate that shit. Dude, fuck you. Because I don't care what you have to say, not because you're not radical ideas, but because they say what you want to say. Like, I am a free speech case. Like, don't be afraid of text, even though I didn't buy the Diary of Anne Frank. But I should read it. It was very touching meeting the Diary of Anne Frank, even though we're live. Oh, thank God, all my viewers. We have zero viewers. Why would we? This is the look, because we got the Wolf Barklord, American Werewolves in Amsterdam. Right? And then I'm Dospook. Someone called me the Destroyer.
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer. running for president of the United States of America. I am going to file. I have to file again. But the problem is this: is ballot access. You have to run two companies. They can be LLC. One of them has to be a declaration of your committee. If you're over 35 years old, there's only a couple requirements. Right, one of them has a 14-year. You have to have national status for at least 14 years, I believe. I think that was something. And you have to be over fucking 35. And you have to have lived in your residence for at least 2 years. And you can run for fucking president if you file a company. So it's incorporated because it's part of the Fed, which isn't part of statism. It's not part of constitutional law. It's part of corporate law. That's why we're a plutocracy, an oligarchy. Then you try to sever out that, like you skin the fish. Like I'm going to pull this slight little, like I'm going to try to take one little, what do you call it? Like one little, not a tile, but let's say something off the fish. Like not the drag, like the dragon in Bilbo Baggins, like had a corn piece missing. That's overkill. But a fish or a snake has a scale. It's like one scale. Take it one scale. So Jim and I, being in person, are scaling each other slightly. Even Amendum in the background. You guys want to listen to some Amendum? Fine, watch this, motherfuckers. You want to see some old school shit from back in the day? Tell us what he inspires in you that reminds you.
Things. We advocate for things that are dramatically different, like opposite, in terms of how we add up what there is to add up, draw conclusions. And there should be something that can be more explicitly analyzed and understood why those differences exist, what they're made out of.
Just because they were looking, and I was like,
and I guess the key problem is there's a certain number of real facts in the world, and relevant ones that have something to do with who we become and what we say and what we think and what we advocate for. And there's maybe a necessity that all of those facts be 7 out of 10 of them be understood. They have to be understood in some order to be understood. To get the last 3, you have to have the first 7. It's sort of an idea. And there are facts, perceptions, beliefs.
The old goat. Test the technique. See if you can follow it. Okay, you little protozoa, you're so minute you didn't know the gang has been watching you, but instead of just stalking you, we're scooping you up out of the muck you've been wallowing in. Like a chief chemist, but operating with a pure version. And then I'm going to pause right there. That's gangster.
Should we go back up?
Hang on. Not yet, no. Mud nut. This will die soon, and then it will upload automatically.
Oh, does it?
It is really peculiar, actually. But I'm going to do this, and then if it doesn't die, then we'll shut it down shortly. Jim, I want Jim to go on a rampage. I'm going to walk this way so you can see me right there. I'm going to go that way. He's good, but he's on a Dospook recording for the first time. Pleasure to meet you, Jim.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
Jim Winters, even if he's upset at me or he finds me peculiar, and look at Leon's getting larger. I'll be down here, and then you speak for a few minutes.
I have to,
No obligation.
I have to go on a rant.
No
Oh, I'm not looking forward to the next little while. I have to fly back to Minneapolis, and then I'm going to drive to Fargo about 10 hours later. Then I'm going to sleep, and then I'm going to drive to Mankato. Then I'm going to go back to work. Mike's standing over there by himself. Can you see all the bicycles there? Yeah. Yeah, what a strange place to meet up with Dospook after all these years here in Amsterdam. God, that's weird. Just a fluke. Ugh. Yeah, I'm doing the Rory Gallagher jean and Blue Oyster Cult t-shirt. I'm just Mr. Low Key, hopefully. At least I went to that concert, right? I didn't just buy it. I got some street cred because I went to the concert. Blue Oyster Cult. That was on my bucket list too. That was pretty fun. Come back, Mike. I'm not very philosophical. How can I be wise if I'm not philosophical?
We appreciate you on the radio. We like your music quite a bit. We even have some things to say in the crowd sometimes. We come in and all that have things to say.
Hey, I came up with the question, how can you
When I'm unbody wise already, I feel like I have to unphilosophize myself just a smidgen. But then it makes me feel like dirty a little bit, like more hedonistic. But then I'm like, hey, just look at Gary.
Yep.
Gary's not hedonistic, but Gary lives dirty. Not that he's dirty. He probably washes all the time.
It's funny, I can block this light.
Well, okay, so I
I'm
thought
gonna put everybody in a trance.
encompassing of Christ into a Seder, or Seder into a Christ. Like Christ of all beings would have to involve Seder encompassing, right? Any God, any being, any contemporary. Meaning, if there's another human organism and you've met them, then that's almost evidence in some way, some manner, some capacity that they have a brilliance or something to say, something to speak of. Maybe they have an angle on something. Maybe they have a perspective on something. Maybe they think something, and they probably think something. So let them fucking say what they want to say, because hip hop hooray, yo, yay, yo, hip hop hooray, yo. And to Cheech and Chong. Okay, so
Look at that.
look at you, look at you. Hip hop hooray, yo, hey, yo, hip hop hooray, yo. You only live once and then you die twice, maybe 3 times, maybe a couple million times, but who knows how many times you can stumble down, bumble around, come around in Amsterdam with the man from the plan that's coming around. He's Barklord. He's one of the men. He's the wolf of London in Amsterdam. Man, you should see him, man. He's got jean jackets on, man, yeah, and he likes it. Wolf. Is that good closing?
Yeah, that's good.
See
you next time. Same bat channel.
Same bat channel. Well, who knows about how soon that'll happen. Same bat channel next time. Or next time, maybe even on his channel. I'm just going to say, Barklord. I'm not even going to mention, oh, it's not spring, it's not summer, it's not